looks like you're all getting settled in. Welcome, class. Welcome to Paleontology 101. Now, before I hear the moans and the groans, trust me, I understand completely how you're feeling right now. Alright? First day of school, summer, was pretty amazing, right? Yeah, okay. Well, trust me, I know. If anyone doesn't want to be here right now, it's me. I can't even describe to you right now. There's not enough words to describe how amazing my summer was. So trust me, I know how you feel. Okay, well, even though we don't want to be here right now, life presses on, and we must learn things in order to press on. So, if you all dig out your textbooks and notebooks and pens and pencils and whatnot, I'll do the same. Paleontology. What do we know? Yes, you. Okay, very good, very good, very good. It's pretty much, like you said, the study of prehistoric life on Earth. Now, we all know the norm. Okay. Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs get all the attention. You know, dinosaurs are getting the movie and TV show deals, books and comics, cartoons, and even toys. And then we have what came after the dinosaurs, which we all pretty much know about as well. You know, your saber-toothed cats, your woolly mammoth, woolly rhino, giant sloth, cave bear, the works, right? Yeah. And they get a fair share of the fame as well. But one question, and one that really doesn't get much attention, not like it should. And I think about this. It's like, you have the dinosaurs, you have the woolly mammoth, cavemen. But what about before it all? Before the dinosaurs, before the woolly mammoths, the saber-toothed tigers. What came before all that? Well, that's where we're going to start today. We're going to start literally at the very beginning. Okay, so maybe not the very beginning, but pretty close to it. Okay, so show of hands. How many of you have the slightest clue as to what I'm talking about right now? Okay, a few. That's, I'll take it. So, those select few that eagerly raised their hands proudly, can you name a few of the species that were before the dinosaurs? No, not really. What? You know them by looks. Well, how do you know what they look like? Did you invent the time machine? You've seen the documentary. The documentary, Walking with Prehistoric Monsters, yes. Okay. Well, today you're going to learn some of those names, and you're going to learn some of the facts behind the names. Okay? Now, I have here my little book of prehistoric creatures. It's quite a thick book. And we're going to go over some of it. Now you're going to say, well, we're not going to be able to see that. Well, I'm going to have each and every one of you come come closer. Okay? Not yet, not yet, not yet. I'll tell you what. But I'm going to have you come closer so you can get a better look. Alright? I could sit here and jot it all down on the chalkboard all day long. But come on, it's the first day back, right? Nobody wants to do that. As a matter of fact, nobody really wants to take notes either today. I'm just not feeling it. So we're just gonna have a little fun introductory lesson today. Alright? How's that sound? Yeah. I agree. Okay, so if you'll all, step up and come a little closer, we can both, we can all take a look at this book and see what all came before the dinosaurs. Now, just, form a little half moon. Yeah. You can come over here to the sides if you need to. There we go. Very nice. Perfect. I wish I could teach, like this all the time. It'd be perfect. Because I'm sure some of you that sit in the back up there, I'm sure you can't really see the chalkboard. Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, well, let's take a look at this and learn a few things. Alright, class, so I have my pointer stick here. I'm going to do a lot of pointing. That way you know what I'm talking about and where it is, okay? Alright, so here we have part 1, the rise of life. That's what today's class is called, the rise of life. Yes, that is a giant centipede, or millipede. I don't know, I'd have to check. We have our first species, and it's pronounced Anomalocaris, which lived 535 to 520 million years ago. Grew up to the size of 2 meters, or 6.5 feet long, as you can tell by this diagram here, which you'll notice each species profile has this, where you can tell the size between it and us. So, fossil finds, North America, China, and Australia. The world's first super predator. Right here. Now, if you see here, you'll see these big talons that come out of its head, where its mouth is. That is actually used to grab and crush its prey, which is a good thing, because back in the time this creature lived, a lot of animals were, hard-shelled. A lot of shellfish back then. Now here's something I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. Trilobites. Pronounced trilobite, meaning 3 lobes. And they lived 520 to 248 million years ago and grew to the size from 5 millimeters to about 80 centimeters, or 0.2 to 32 inches long. They were scavengers, and they've been found worldwide. Right here. Now, one fascinating fact about the trilobite that I forgot to mention: its eyes. This is straight out of a sci-fi movie. Its eyes were made out of crystal. That's right. Now, here's a tiny little guy. The Hycoichthyes. Hycoichthyes. Now, say it faster. Hycoichthyes. There we go. Meaning fish from haiku. Lived 535 million years ago. Grew to about 2.5 centimeters, or an inch long. It was a scavenger, and it's mostly found in China. Now, fascinating fact, fossils of Hycoichthyes are so well preserved that you can still see their internal organs and slime glands. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Up next we have Camarasaurus, meaning chambered horn. It was just like a giant squid inside of an ice cream cone. And it lived 470 to 440 million years ago. It grew in size to about 10 to 11 meters, or 33 to 36 feet. Its shell alone was about 9 to 10 meters, or 30 to 33 feet. Had a carnivorous diet, and fossil finds mostly in North America. Now, people used to think that fossil orthocone shells were actually unicorn horns. So, that's a fun fact. Here we have the Megalograptus, meaning giant writing, which lived 460 to 445 million years ago. Grew about 1 meter in length, or 3.3 feet, carnivorous diet, and has been mostly found in North America. Here we have the cashapp, or meaning head shield, which lived 425 to 385 million years ago. Grew up to 45 to 60 centimeters, or 1 to 2 feet. It was a detritivorous diet and has been found worldwide. Fun fact, cashapp could generate an electrical field to detect predators. Kind of like a prehistoric sonar, in a way. Now, these two are related in a sense. Brontoscorpio, the biggest scorpion of all time, meaning thunder scorpion. It was an arachnid or arthropod, lived 420 to 415 million years ago. Grew about 3 feet long. Had a carnivorous diet and has mostly been found in Europe. Fascinating fact, Brontoscorpio had a stinger about the size of a small light bulb. Now, the pterygotus lived 420 to 410 million years ago. Grew up to about 9 feet long. Had a carnivorous diet, and its fossils have been found worldwide, except Antarctica. Here we have one big, mean fish, the Lloyds'S. Lived 370 to 360 million years ago. Grew up to 8 to 10 meters, or 26 to 33 feet long. Carnivorous diet. Found in North America, Europe, and North Africa. Now, fossilized sick balls produced by Lloyds'S have actually been found, kind of like, regurgitation. So, we found fossilized Lloyds'S hairballs. But as you can see, this fish was massive towards this little human right here. Talk about nightmare fuel. And if you take a look at its teeth, they weren't actually necessarily teeth. They were actually bony plates. Kind of like pre-teeth. Here we have the Stethec anthus, which lived 370 to 345 million years ago. And its name means chest spine. up to 0.7 to about 2 meters, or 2.4 to 6.5 feet long. Carnivorous diet, and has been found in North America, Europe, and northern Asia. It's also known as the ironing board shark because of its weird dorsal fin. Kind of does look like an ironing board, or an anvil even. Hynerpedon, meaning creeping animal from Hyner. Lived 360 million years ago, grew up to about 2 meters or 6.5 feet long, carnivorous diet, and mostly has been found in North America. That is one big salamander. Look at it. You can almost have it as a pet. And get this. If you look at its paws here, it actually has 8 digits on each paw. Hyneria lived 360 million years ago, grew up to about 13 feet long, or 4 meters, had a carnivorous diet, and has been mostly found in North America. It's quite a large trout. Now, despite its unwieldy size, Hyneria could drag itself onto land and search for food. Now, you can't really see it because the page is torn, but it has these flippers. Okay? It would start using them like legs, just like kind of like sea turtles do, dragging itself up on land and snatching whatever it can. Now you want to talk about nightmare fuel. If you don't like bugs, this would literally be a bad place for you to live. An eagle-sized dragonfly, Mechanubra, 311 to 282 million years ago. A wingspan of 75 centimeters or 2.5 feet. Carnivorous diet, mainly found in Europe. And I'll bet you it could even see better than an eagle with these eyes. Now, one fun fact to add to your nightmare fuel. This dragonfly's larva was a foot long, 12 inches, or 30 centimeters. About like what, like that. It's a big larva squirming around. Now here we have one of the first lizards, first reptile. This is the Petrolacosaurus, 300 to 290 million years ago. Grew up to about 16 inches long, or 40 centimeters. It wasn't really all that big. Had a carnivorous diet and has been mainly found in North America. Now, here we go. The largest land arthropod of all time, about as big as a Volkswagen Beetle. The arthropods, 340 to 280 million years ago, grew up to a whopping 0.3 to 2.6 meters, or 1 to 8.5 feet long. It was omnivorous and has been mainly found in North America, Middle East, and Europe. But that is one giant centipede. Here we have Protogyres, 325 to 320 million years ago. Grew up to the size of 2.3 meters or 7.5 feet long. Had a carnivorous diet and has been mainly found in North America. Here we can see a fossilized section of tree that would have been around during the time of this creature. Look at the bark. Everything is just so uniformly patterned. It's almost perfect. Look at that. Up next we have the Dimetrodon, which lived 282 to 256 million years ago. Its size was 0.5 to 3.5 meters, or 1.6 to 11.5 feet long. Had a carnivorous diet, very, very carnivorous diet. And its fossils have been found in North America, Europe, and Russia. Now, as you can see here, had this big giant sail, which could have been for numerous things. It could have been for cooling. It could have been used for amphibious purposes, like a sail. Could have been used to, flash or strut your stuff to find a mate, or to fight an adversary. Here we have the Semoria, which lived 282 to 260 million years ago. Grew about 3 feet long, or 90 centimeters. Had a carnivorous diet, and its fossils have been found in North America and Europe. Now, one fascinating fact about the Semoria. Among the excellent fossil records of Semoria are some of its tadpole larvae. Up next, we have what looks like a relative of the Dimetrodon. But it's a little different. This is the Dinosaurs, which lived 282 to 256 million years ago. grew up to about 3 meters or 10 feet long, and it was a herbivore, unlike the Dimetrodon, which was a carnivore. Its fossils have been found in North America as well as Europe. And it was the first known plant-eating reptile to evolve. They started it all for the herbivore dinosaurs. Here we have the Gorgonops. This is one mean-looking beast. Lived 252 to 248 million years ago. Grew up to about 3.5 meters to 11.5 feet long. Carnivorous diet and have been mainly found in Africa. Now look at this. That is one mean killing machine. You see here, look at his teeth. That is a mean bite. Look at that. I hate to get smacked in the head with him. Looks like he can throw a pretty powerful punch. Even this, the top predator in a dying world. That is so fitting. Now, fascinating fact, was the first of many predators through the ages to sport long curved canines known as saber teeth. So this is one of the first saber-tooths. No, not a saber-tooth tiger, a saber-tooth. This right here. It has a saber tooth. Doesn't mean it's related to the saber-toothed tigers or anything like that. Okay, so, yeah. Okay, next we have the Scutosaurs. Lived 252 to 248 million years ago. Grew up to a whopping 3.5 meters or 11.5 feet long. Lived a herbivorous diet and have been mainly found in Russia and Europe. Fascinating fact is, this creature, despite its looks and lack of shell, it might actually be the ancestor of turtles and tortoises. Kind of looks like a giant tortoise, doesn't it? Up next we have the Diectodon. It's a cute little fellow. It's a reptile. Lived 256 to 252 million years ago. Grew about 45 centimeters or 1.5 feet long. It's a tiny little thing. Lived a herbivorous diet as well, and have been mainly found in Africa and Asia. Now, Diectodons are actually missing links. They are reptiles on the way to becoming mammals. Now, as you can see here, see this? This is all mammal behavior. Cuddling up, nesting, giving birth to live young, stuff like that. So, it's pretty interesting. Alright, folks. We're going to save part 2, the age of reptiles, for a later date. Now, there are some of our creatures from our time frame that we're currently on in this section, such as Proterosuchus, giant long-legged crocodile ancestor. Or its favorite meal, the Lystrosaurus, a pig-like reptile. Euparcacaria, possibly the ancestor to the dinosaurs. It's a good chance this little fella started it all with the dinos. The Nothosaurus, a reptile that returned to the sea. The Symbospondylus, largest ichthyosaur of all time. Or the Tanystropheus, a reptile that almost defied physics. It's a really long neck. The Plateosaurus, one of the first dinosaurs, but not yet considered a dinosaur. The Pleucereus, the last of a great dynasty. The missing link between mammals and reptiles. The Thrinaxodon. Coelophysis. Dinosaurs' small beginnings, as well as flying reptiles like the Petinosaurus. Or this big guy, Postosuchus, a hunter of dinosaurs. So, next time, we have some more interesting species to take a look at. Alright, class, if you'll all take your seats again, I think the bell is probably soon going to be ringing, about 5 or 10 minutes. So. Okay, well class, I think we had a very productive day today, didn't we? It's a nice first day back. Yeah. Didn't get a whole lot done, paperwork-wise, but we still learned some things, didn't we? Well, I think that you're all going to really enjoy this class. I really do. I'm quite a laid-back teacher. I like to have fun and learn while doing it. It's one of the best ways, I think. But I have all sorts of things planned. All sorts of fun activities, side projects, team building exercises, field trips, the works. You're all gonna love it. Alright, well, until the bell rings, I guess you could all just, sit and socialize, or doodle, or unless you have questions, that is. I didn't think so. you all do whatever you're going to do. I'm going to start getting ready for the next class. Alright, well, I will see you tomorrow. And I hope you have a fantastic first day back. Hope I could set the mood.